Welcome back, guys. Let's hop right into the topic of Rhodactis mushrooms. Mushroom corals are corallimorphs, which means they belong to the order Corallimorpharia. Because of their soft bodies and lack of a skeleton, they often get associated with soft corals or even anemones, but in terms of taxonomy, they have much more in common with stony corals. The main distinguishing feature of soft corals versus stony corals is their polyp segments. True soft corals have polyp segments in multiples of 8, while stony corals have polyp segments in multiples of 6. In this regard, corallimorphs are more similar to stony corals because they have polyp segments in multiples of 6. There's several different genera of corallimorphs, such as Discosoma, Ricordea, Pseudocoronactis, and the topic of this video, Rhodactis. The Rhodactis genus of mushroom corallimorphs are arguably the most diverse mushrooms in the reef aquarium hobby. They can range in size from the 1-inch Tonga bullseye varieties to gigantic 18-inch elephant ear mushrooms. If you can imagine a color combination, there's probably a Rhodactis out there that fits the bill. For a price. Rhodactis are one of the hot corals in the market, at least at the time of this video. The bounce mushroom, for example, is a variety of Rhodactis, and it's safe to say that it's the king of the hypebeast mountain. Until the next hot coral knocks it off anyway. This variety of Rhodactis has balloon-like growths on its face, and despite being ultra-polarizing on whether it actually looks nice, there's little question that they fetch high prices in the market today. It came as a little bit of a surprise to me, because for the first 30-something years I've been in the hobby, mushrooms of any kind were never the hot coral. We live in interesting times where Rhodactis is sometimes sold for 4 figures, or a Discosoma, like a jawbreaker mushroom, goes for like $1,000. Then again, there's always a hot coral out there, and it's just a matter of time until it basically swings back to other types of corals. So expect to see acros and chalices that might be kind of depressed in value now be the hot coral of the future. Now, regardless of size, coloration, or price point, Rhodactis are some of the easiest corals to keep. They can be kept in a wide range of lighting and flow. However, I would recommend taking it easy on both lighting and flow. Let's tackle lighting first. Rhodactis can be kept in brightly lit tanks, like you see here in my friend Nathan's tank. It's an SPS-dominated tank, with the mushrooms about 18 to 20 inches down in the water column. If I had to guess, they're in roughly 100 to 150 par. Alternatively, we've kept them in lower light of around 75 par, and they've been fine. Rhodactis have more or less consistent coloration, so switching between lighting technologies like LED versus T5 or ramping up intensities doesn't really change their appearance very much. So as long as you're providing the requisite lighting intensity and not burning them, you should be successful keeping them. As for flow, I like to keep them in lower flow. Basically, I'm looking to provide just enough flow that the detritus does not settle on them or around their base. Flow that's too strong causes them to shrink up, and I prefer Rhodactis that are spread out. When it comes to nutrition, just providing light for photosynthesis is adequate, but it's possible to spot feed them if you shut off the pumps and are patient. As I mentioned before, the Rhodactis genus is highly diverse, and as such, there's going to be some Rhodactis mushrooms that are more aggressive feeders than others. Is it worth it to feed them? I'm not really sure. I'll let you decide. Let's talk a moment about reproduction and propagation. In home aquariums, these mushrooms reproduce asexually through longitudinal fission. In essence, that means that they start to develop 2 mouths and then pinch themselves in half to form 2 separate mushrooms. It's a lengthier process than, say, Discosoma that asexually spread through pedal laceration, that's P-E-D-A-L, guys, where the coral drops off bits of its foot to spawn new mushrooms. To speed up this process, you can propagate Rhodactis by cutting them down the middle once they get to a large enough size. When doing this, I try to make sure that both halves remain attached to some sort of substrate. The most difficult thing is to reattach mushrooms to substrate, so if at all possible, make sure that neither half breaks loose. The risk with this type of propagation is infection. I lost this bounce mushroom here when it never fully recovered from the cutting process. Okay, that does it for Rhodactis mushroom corallimorphs. They're great additions to reef aquariums, ranging from the beginning hobbyists looking for something very hardy to the discerning coral collector that's looking for a signature piece in their hypebeast collection. Share in the comments below your experiences with these mushrooms. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Until next time, happy reefing everyone.